Once there was a butterfly. Oh, what a pretty butterfly she was. Her wings were like tiny stained glass windows painted with the brightest of colours. A splash of sunny yellow here, a dot of sky blue there. Her wings had swirls of orange and stripes of purple, all shimmering in the warm morning light. She loved her colours very much. She would flutter from one place to another, showing them off to the world. The bees would buzz in admiration, and the ladybugs would stop and stare at her magnificent patterned wings as she danced through the air. Her days were filled with joyful things. She would wake up when the sun first kissed the petals of the daisies. Then her wonderful day would begin. She would fly through the meadow, a place bursting with life and sweet smells. Her favourite game was to chase the fluffy white seeds of the dandelions as they floated on the breeze. She would sip sweet nectar from the deep cups of the red tulips and the yellow daffodils. Life was a sweet and simple song, and the butterfly danced to its happy tune every single day, without a single worry in her tiny little heart. She had many friends in the garden. The busy ants would wave their antennae as she flew past their long marching lines. The sleepy caterpillars would watch her from their leaves, dreaming of the day they too would have wings to fly. The butterfly would tell them stories of the sky, of the tall flowers she had visited, and the sweet tastes she had found. She would say, "The world is so big and so beautiful from up here, you just have to wait and see." She felt so lucky to be a butterfly, to live among the flowers and the gentle breezes. Every evening as the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, she would find a cosy leaf to rest upon. She would fold her delicate wings together, hiding all her beautiful colours for the night. The world would grow quiet and the stars would begin to twinkle one by one. She would dream of the next day's adventures, of new flowers to visit and new friends to meet. Her life was a perfect loop of sunshine, nectar and gentle flight, and she couldn't imagine anything else, not in a million years. One bright Tuesday, something quite peculiar happened. The sun was shining brighter than ever, and the meadow was buzzing with its usual happy sounds. The butterfly was fluttering near a patch of very tall sunflowers, their faces turned up to the sky. As she danced from one giant flower to the next, she felt a strange tingle. It started at the very tip of her antennae and fizzed all the way down to her tiny feet. It was not a scary feeling, but it was certainly a new one. She paused on a large yellow petal, wondering what this funny feeling could be. The tingle grew stronger and stronger, like a little fizzing firework inside her. Suddenly, a bright light wrapped all around her, so bright she had to close her eyes. It was warmer than the sun and softer than a petal. The light hummed a gentle magical tune. Her beautiful wings, the ones with the yellow and blue and purple, began to feel heavy. They started to change. The delicate, paper-thin wings grew thicker and stronger. The beautiful colours swirled together like paint being mixed in a pot, until they all melted into a deep, glossy black, as dark as the night sky without any stars. Her tiny body began to grow. It stretched and puffed, becoming bigger and rounder. Her small, spindly legs became strong and sturdy. Her little head changed shape, and a hard black beak pushed its way out where her nectar-sipping mouth used to be. The change was happening so fast. She felt herself getting heavier, no longer a little speck of colour that could be carried away by the wind. She was becoming something else entirely, something solid and powerful. The magical light hummed its final note, and then faded away, leaving her sitting on the sunflower completely transformed. When the light was gone, she dared to open her eyes. She looked down at herself. Where were her yellow and purple wings? Gone. In their place were large, sleek wings made of black feathers. She lifted one. It was so big and strong, she tried to wiggle her antennae, but they were gone too. She looked at her feet, which were now strong claws gripping the sunflower's edge. She was no longer a butterfly. She was a big black crow. She let out a sound, but it wasn't a gentle flutter. It was a loud, surprising caw, caw that echoed across the meadow. At first, the new crow felt very confused. She looked at her black wings and her strong beak. This was not her. She was a small, colourful butterfly who danced with the flowers. She missed her beautiful colours. Black seemed so plain compared to the rainbow she used to wear. She tried to fly like a butterfly with a gentle fluttering motion, but her new wings were too big and powerful for that. She flapped them clumsily and almost toppled off the sunflower. A little tear might have rolled down her cheek if crows could cry. She felt sad and a little bit lost. She missed the sweet taste of nectar. She flew over to a rose and tried to sip from it with her new beak, but it was no use. Her beak was too big and hard. It was made for other things. She missed her tiny friends, the ants and the ladybugs. When she flew down to say hello, they all scurried away in fear. "Don't be scared. It's me," she wanted to say, but all that came out was another loud caw. They didn't recognize her. She was now a big dark bird, and the small creatures of the meadow saw her as a stranger, perhaps even a scary one. But then an exciting thought popped into her head. These new wings were so strong, what could they do? She decided to try flying again, but this time not like a butterfly. She gave a mighty flap and then another. Whoosh! She was lifted into the air, higher and faster than ever before. She wasn't dancing on the breeze anymore. She was soaring through it. She flew higher than the sunflowers, higher than the tallest trees in the meadow. The wind rushed past her, a thrilling sound she had never heard so closely before. This was a new and amazing feeling. From way up high, the world looked completely different. The meadow she knew, which once seemed like the entire world, was now just a small green and yellow patch below. She could see the river sparkling in the distance, a silver ribbon winding through the land. She could see the village with its little houses and smoking chimneys. She could see the great wide forest on the other side of the hill. As a butterfly, she could never have travelled this far. Her world had suddenly become so much bigger, full of new places to explore and new sights to see. The new crow spent her days exploring this vast new world. She learned to ride the wind currents, gliding effortlessly for miles without even flapping her wings. She discovered new kinds of food. Instead of nectar, she found juicy red berries on high bushes and shiny beetles hiding under the bark of old trees. She even found a shiny piece of foil on the ground and picked it up in her beak. It wasn't tasty, but it was so sparkly and interesting. She took it back to her nest, a little treasure for her new home, high up in an oak tree. Life as a crow was very different from life as a butterfly. As a butterfly, her world was small and soft, full of flowers and sweet smells. Her job was to be beautiful and to dance in the sun. As a crow, her world was huge and exciting, full of adventure and new discoveries. Her job was to be clever and strong. She learned to solve puzzles like how to get a tasty nut out of its hard shell. She made new friends, other crows who cawed and flew with her, playing games of chase high above the clouds. Sometimes she would fly back to her old meadow. She would perch on a high branch and watch the new butterflies flutter among the flowers. She remembered how lovely it was to be so small and delicate, to live a life painted in bright colours. She didn't miss it with sadness anymore, but with a happy memory, like remembering a wonderful dream. She knew that life was beautiful, whether you were a tiny butterfly sipping nectar or a big crow exploring the wide sky. Each life had its own special kind of magic. The crow looked out at the setting sun, which was turning the clouds orange and pink. She spread her big black wings and felt the cool evening air beneath them. She was strong. She was clever. She was free to go anywhere she wanted. She let out a happy, confident caw. That wasn't sad or confused at all. It was the sound of a creature who loved her new life and was excited for all the tomorrows to come. She was no longer a butterfly, but she had found a new kind of beauty in being a crow, and she wouldn't have it any other way.